Good day to you, Guyana, and welcome to another edition of Facing the Nation. I am Malika Ramsey. Thanks very much for joining us this week. This week, in our minds, mentally, we're traveling to Region 10, and I'm happy to be traveling there. I'm putting us in a Region 10 space this week. Even though I've been promising to do that for you for 2 weeks, but this time it's the guest is a different guest. So we're in a sense mentally traveling to Region 10, and also we're taking the PNCR along with us on today's program. With me, I have Mr. Deron Adams. Deron Adams is the PNCR Region 10 chairman, and he's been doing a lot of work in that community, of course, along with the supporting team and so on. So my conversation will be with him for the first half of our program. Deron, welcome to Facing the Nation.
Thank you, Malika. And I must say it's an honor to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing an excellent job over the years.
Thank you very much.
It's a privilege, and I encourage you to keep on doing the good work.
Oh, thank you. And viewers, it's always interesting when guests congratulate you. See, I'm smiling. I have a big blush on my face. We don't have a second guest. I know you've gotten accustomed to us having a two-part program, two guests. We're not going to be focusing on a guest in the second half, but I will tell you about an essay competition, a writing competition that will be coming up. I know the little ones are not at home today. Well, you're not supposed to be at home. You're supposed to be at school. But I'm trusting that those of you who are at home will pass on the information. Of course, those of you who will view this program on YouTube later on in the day will also pass on the information. But I'll talk about that a little later on in the program. Let's get right into our conversation with PNCR Chairman, Region 10 Chairman Deron Adams. First off, so because for some of you who don't know him, we know him internally, but he's in a sense a new kid on the block. So just that people can get an understanding. How long have you been chairman of the PNCR Region 10?
Okay. Well, as you would have known, Guyana would have known, we lost a daughter of the soil in Sandra Adams.
Yes.
And Sandra was the chairman for Region 10. She died on the 2nd of January. And from January, we had our leadership came up. We did the consultation discussions, and the team was installed, and I became chairman on the 25th of January. And so from that period to now, we've been pioneering and handling the affairs of the PNCR in Region 10.
Okay, great. You have been, but I don't want to say rumored for want of a better word. You've been touted as being the chairman who is pushing for community development and the importance of community. Tell me why, and I want to know why in the context of where we're at a point in our nation whereby everybody, again, I always bring this up, we're at a point where we're pushing green initiative, pushing the environment. So tell me about your focus on community development and how all of that ties into His Excellency's vision for us as becoming a green state.
Okay. I love my president. I love my leader.
Okay.
I'm passionate about his vision for Guyana. And so oftentimes I would follow him, follow the media, and positive reports that they would carry. One of the things from the regional level, from Region 10, we understand that His Excellency's vision is to one, strengthen our people from the community level. Right? And that is why he brought back local government, democracy, and he renamed ministries. For example, he changed that ministry from local government, he made it Ministry of Communities. And so we understand that his vision and his passion is to see communities develop. And so we have developed a program in Region 10, CAP, the Community Awareness Program. And under that CAP, the vision is to consolidate and strengthen our people, as I said, from the community level, through training, opportunity, education, and, any other thing that is in keeping with his vision. Right? And so we have been patterning our work and being guided by what we have experienced from him so far.
What sort of, and this is even for whether PNC, not PNC, or even those who are neutral, who like to be in the middle or on the fence. I don't necessarily go with that, but to me, you have to take some side or the other. But how has the community, I should say, responded? How have the people responded to this sort of vision? Are you getting the support, the push, and even for those who are pushing back to say, well, just for the purpose of opposing, how are you dealing with all of that?
Okay, well, first of all, as you know, Region 10 is home to the People's National Congress. We have remained loyal to that party, even as the party has remained loyal to us. What I can highlight to our viewers is that in Region 10, we know for sure that the President is and other members, Ms. Amna Ali, the entire executive, we know that they have the social and economic will of the people at heart. Just recently, last week, His Excellency was in Region 10, and a number of developmental projects has been initiated to ensure that we continue to connect with our people at the grassroots level. His Excellency would have visited the region, and he would have, along with Minister Simona Brooms, who has been assigned to Region 10, and he would have commissioned a play field for the residents of Victory Valley. Now, if you know anything about Victory Valley, and for those who don't know,
yes, teach them today. Teach us.
Victory Valley was once labeled the Valley of Tears.
Oh.
Now, from that terminology alone, Valley of Tears, it tells you in your mind what happened. What happened prior to May 2015, right? The poverty, the hardship, the crime. And for us to have a sitting president visit Victory Valley, right? Of course, leading up to his visit, transformational projects were already being done in that community. And so, as I said earlier, that is the vision, strengthening our people from the community level. He went in, His Excellency, engaged the people. Victory Valley has now been transformed through that visit by the President and previous visits by other ministers, Minister Simona Brooms and others visited there. Out of Victory Valley, we have had some of Guyana's leading athletes. Shantoba Bright, who just brought back the gold medal for Guyana, lives in Victory Valley. The Victory Valley Royals basketball team, who have won numerous championships, come from that area. And to know that over the years they were marginalized, discriminated, left to rot in poverty. To know now that we have a leader that can find the time to come on the ground and walk the streets of Victory Valley and engage the people is something that I believe we don't ever want to go back to what we had before. And we have to ensure that we continue to engage our people and, so that we can see developmental projects continue in the region.
All right. I know there is somewhat of a new municipality. How are you working, or I should say, how is your team, your group working along with the city council, the town council for that area, and the mayor, the deputy mayor, and so on? Is there a collaborative effort?
Well, we would have met with our council, with the mayor, deputy mayor, myself, Minister Brooms, Mr. Murty Mamingo. Okay. We would have met with those councillors and the mayor, and we highlighted to them, look, this is our vision, this is what we want to see.
Yes.
Yes, there's some challenges there, but we believe with the guidance of experienced people, we can hold each other accountable. And so that's what we've been pushing to them. Minister Brooms would have engaged the council, the mayor, and we're now trying to get back to that place where let us focus on communities, put aside everything else, and let us work in collaboration with the mayor and town council, the RDC, even the party office, and let's take Guyana to that place where we know our leaders want to see the different communities meet.
All right. Moving on to a specific project. I was reading earlier and I saw something that I find quite interesting, and it's called the Adopt a Grandfriend Initiative. Because this is the first time I'm hearing about that. Let's let the viewers understand what really is the Adopt a Grandfriend. And viewers, just so you understand what I'm saying, grand in the terms of grandparents, grandmother, grandfather. Correct. So this is an Adopt a Grandfriend Initiative. Yeah. What's that about?
Coming into office, being a young person, I was not happy with the way senior citizens were being treated. And so the whole idea came about because I have senior citizens living in my area. And when I'm going to do shopping and so on, I would stop and ask them and say, okay, Ms. Janice, do you need your cooking gas or do you need your bottle of water? And I would stop and buy it for them and take it back. And so from the party level, we were encouraging persons to adopt senior citizens living in their communities. Because I believe, and the party believes, that to care for those who once cared for us is one of the highest honors, right? We will all meet that stage. And so we have been pushing that. And along with that, with the Adopt a Grandfriend, we would have created the Region 10 discount card. And so we engaged corporate Linden, supermarkets, pharmacies, taxi services, printing companies, variety stores. And they have all, and even some restaurants and hangout spots. And they have agreed to issue a 5 to 10% discounts to our seniors.
Once they have that card?
Once they have the card.
Interesting.
And so we brought in 500 cards just to test out. All 500 finish in a week.
Wow.
So we have to now order 500
People need
more,
help,
right?
yeah.
And so we believe it's a model that the other regions should follow, right? And collaborate to give discounts to our seniors. We would have known that this government, since taking office, would have increased old age pension from 13,000, I think it was, it's now 19,500, and they did that just over 24 months.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to ensure that these folks have a bit more. We also have a database that we have created. And what we would do is, because on the card you have to fill up the information, date of birth, address, so on, and they laminate it. So we would keep checking the database, and when a senior's birthday come around, we would, as a party, bake a cake, and a group of young people would go and just interact with them. I can tell you, when I saw how these senior citizens would, the joy, it moved me, and as I said, it's a project that other regions should
emulate. And how long has this started, the Adopt a Grandfriend Initiative, and how long it's been running for?
It was the first project that started for the year January.
This year,
yeah.
Okay.
Around the 26th of January we launched it.
And you plan to ensure that it's an ongoing one.
Yeah.
What I like about your initiatives thus far, and we still have some other things to talk about, including the Feeding Angels program, but what I like about your initiative so far, especially this one, we're now in an era where we beat up a lot on younger people. I do it. Most of us are guilty, of it, because we believe that their mindsets are really different from ours. But what I like about this initiative is that it is an opportunity to bring young people into the fold and let them hear from the senior citizens and bring their minds, in a reasonably productive place. And I also like is the fact that you talked about involving corporate Guyana. So you're basically telling people, look, you don't necessarily have to be some people like to use it as a derogatory term. I don't think it's derogatory, but you don't have to be a party loyalist, so to speak, to get involved and to help out citizens. So I like the fact that you have involved corporate Guyana in that. The Feeding the Angels program. Let's talk about that.
Moving around, because we went into all the schools, primary schools we started with, and we would have engaged a number of persons, sponsors, both locally and in the diaspora. And they would have loved the initiative, they came on it. And we've been doing it twice weekly in most of the primary schools, if not all. And it's geared at assisting the underprivileged kids, right? We continue to encourage persons to come on board to assist us, and moving out, not only from doing the feeding program, we want to also do donate sports gear to the schools. We would have went to Mackenzie High School only Friday, Wednesday, and we handed over some footballs and cricket gear and some other stuff to them, volleyball and so on. So the Feeding Angels, when you think of it, think of our kids that are in school that are not yet benefiting, the parents maybe have not yet been able to provide 3 square meals for them. So from the party perspective, we want to make sure that we can eliminate that.
You've talked a lot about, of course, because your work is based on basically His Excellency's vision. You've also talked about Minister Broom's involvement and so on. Is there a need for you to, if not you to reach out, but in terms of, because sometimes we forget we're one country regardless of region. Is there a need for you to reach out and to get some sort of assistance or so from Region 4? Is that necessary at this time? Is it something that you would want to look into at this time?
Well, we would welcome assistance from anywhere. All right, we would welcome assistance from anywhere. In fact, I remember in February, I think it was, we went into Moblissa. Now, Moblissa is bordered by both Region 10 and Region 4. And they had an issue there where mosquitoes had infested the area.
Okay.
And from the party level, we went in, we donated a fogging machine. And I made a statement there where I said, while we're donating the fogging machine, I know that Region 4 would have donated the chemicals.
Okay,
and
right.
so I hope that the chemicals would have went into Moblissa, and of course the people there would have benefited from gotten some relief from that infested area with the mosquitoes.
All right, viewers, if you're now tuning in today, my conversation is with Mr. Deron Adams. Deron Adams is the PNCR Region 10 chairman. Of course, as you know, this program deals with everything, including politics. And I like to say we're Guyanese first, but we're our PNCR second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the other things that you may have on your agenda that you'd like the public to know now. I know it's a lot of work that you're doing, and we can't possibly cover all of it in this one program, but let's hear.
Okay, we have a mandate won by His Excellency. He came into Region 10. He said he wants to see 1,000 play parks set up. And so Minister Brooms has started to do the drawings and sketch, because we want to ensure that we put a play park in every community.
Okay.
We'll also be looking at a boulevard right to the waterfront area. But moving along to our professionals, for example, our nurses, recognizing that nurses have challenges. Medical books, for example, are very expensive. One book, when I checked it out, cost close to $45,000. And we have been having health talks. On our committee, we have someone that is responsible for health talks with our young people. And now we appreciate what our professionals do on a daily basis, because we have understand the time and the effort, what they would have put in. And so from the party level, we'll be donating medical books. We have engaged persons overseas, and textbooks such like Fundamentals of Nursing, Principles of Anatomy and Physiology, Medical Surgical Nursing. These are books that they have to use. The party will be assisting them in getting those books. Minister Brooms also would have engaged our girls in the schools, because recently we had a report where Region 10 had recorded over 4,000 cases of abuse, which is not good. And so you know the field that Minister Brooms is in trafficking. She would have gotten awards. She's been very vocal against abuse of women. And so Minister would have held a girl power initiative, and she did a motivational speech there. And the team was confronting challenges today, ensuring a brighter future. And it was well supported, and we intend to continue to do another program as such. We are also looking at persons with disability. I would have met with them, and they highlighted their plight. We're going to partner with persons overseas to try and first do some rehabilitative works on the area, the building that they're in, and that should be done soon. And we're going to engage them to ensure that they too are not left out of the good life that was promised by His Excellency. Our main focus, however, is our youth and youth groups. All right, I am young, and so that is my number one.
Yeah, your youth first.
Yeah, so our youths account for a great percentage, Malika, of the voting population, making them a powerful political force.
Yes.
All right, and so we know that they're important. The youth voice and the youth vote has the potential to be extremely influential in this country. And so our popularity with our youth must be one of our key elements of our message, right? And that is what I want to. We had Dr. Collins in Linden. He met with a youth group. We had over 100 participants. And so we want to bring him back, and we're going to guarantee that we're going to triple that amount.
Is there a willingness on the part of the youths? Because, and the reason I'm asking too, again, we beat upon young people often, and sometimes young people say to you, look, listen, they tell you flat, if you can't give me something, I ain't voting. I ain't voting for you. What is in it for me? How do you believe, what can be put in place for us to break what has, apparently it has become a culture, because they tell you straight, if I got bread and butter issues, you can't help me, I ain't voting for you. How do we break that culture?
Well, we understanding what they're facing, one of the things that I would have done, and I would have encouraged the other members in our committee is to engage them. For example, I deal with business, and so I've been meeting with a group of young people, and I've been encouraging them to get a business. Think of a business name, get registered. I'll help you with your NIS and your GRA, because you don't know anything about that. So we'll first of all ensure we're compliant with the laws of Guyana. And then we'll engage the Small Business Bureau. And I told them to think up of things, ideas that you may want. A young lady came in my office and she said, she wants to do a business. I said, okay. And she showed me her subjects and so on. I said, you got a grade 1 in English. I said, okay. I said, do me a favor. I need this letter typed because I want to send it to Republic Bank.
Okay.
And she drafted the letter and I reviewed it, made some changes. And I said, look, $3,000. I said, you have just created a job for yourself. And she was like, wow. I said, no, think of all the other persons that may not know to write an application that you can assist.
Right, or may not have a secretary, but they don't necessarily need a permanent secretary, but not as in a PS in ministries, but they just need somebody every now and again to.
And so they've been doing things like that. We're now encouraging them to get signed up with the Small Business Bureau, and so that they can have part of the funding subsidized, because I think the government would put up 40% collateral and you just have to find 60%. So we're encouraging them to use that channel to kickstart. And even the Linden Enterprise Network, that is a lending agency as well, we're encouraging them. So in the future, you'll be seeing a lot more business people. We're going to help them to understand how they get into the tender process, the tender for contracts, and things like that.
Okay. Have you been getting the support? Because I know you talked about a lot of support, especially from the minister and so on. Have you been getting maybe support in terms of the diaspora, PNCR diaspora? Have you been getting support, and whether it be financial or otherwise, have you been getting that sort of support from them?
Well,
and is it necessary?
Yeah, it's necessary, but we have not engaged our party group in the diaspora. What we did, we have persons who, when I assumed office, because of their support towards me in the future, in my private life, they would have jumped on board. And so we have persons with wheelchairs and other things that have called me and said, listen, we want to donate this to the party. We have an initiative called Pass It On, where we are encouraging the wealthy people. You may have 2 microwaves, 2 blenders, something. And so they're packing these things, and then we're going to go into areas and distribute them to persons who never had a microwave. So that's the Pass It On initiative. We have a backpack drive that we're currently working on, and we're going to roll that out maybe by August, so that we can tap into all the communities, not only Linden, but we have Aichuni, Araima, Kokwani, Kalkuni, Gate Roy, right? All of these places we have to ensure we meet with the people. That is, as I said, the vision of His Excellency, to go into all these communities. We would have at General Council, I would have made a request to His Excellency about the road from Linden, Aichuni to Kokwani. And surprisingly, I was like, wow, in 2 to 3 weeks after, the road work had started on the road.
Okay.
And so I know that he is listening. I know that our leaders are listening, Ms. Amna Ali, Simona Brooms, Mr. Basil Williams. They're all working along with the regional leaders, and that is all we need.
Okay. Right. All right. Perfect. Before I put you on the spot a bit, because we'll begin to wrap our conversation soon, I'd like you, because I know you have a list of things that are there that you were talking about, I'd like to give you another opportunity if you haven't spoken about everything there yet.
Okay. Two of the final things I would like to mention at this time. Our First Lady, I must say thank you to her. She came into Linden with her team, and they held a robotics program. For the first time, it was held at the Harmony Secondary School. That has never happened before. And so we must say thank you. Out of that, we have developed a relationship, and now we will be having a lot more programs happen. I don't want to let too much out, but you will hear of it in terms of ICT and so on. You will hear of it. One of the final things we want to encourage our party, and we're doing it even from Region 10, is that a lot of our young people, the reality is that they have not been exposed to all that the People's National Congress has done over the years. They're ignorant to the fact.
History.
Exactly. And so they just vote or they just embrace because of a relative. Maybe the grandmother was PNC. And so we have initiated and we have started to work on a project branded Party Talk, where we're going to be inviting the experts, our senior people, to come and tell us what it really means to be PNC. And I believe that words of encouragement from our leaders will inspire, inform, and then ignite an understanding of what it truly means to be PNC.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Now to put you on the spot a bit, you talked a lot about community and development, and I did ask you about, what does greening mean for you and the community. And the other thing that we're talking about now, obviously, is oil. We can't run from that. It is here. How would you want Linden, and this is outside of our political parties, how would you want Linden, and especially the young people of Linden, to benefit, and what sort of contribution you think you can make in helping to ensure that Linden of itself benefits from every good thing that Guyana will be gaining, especially with the onset of oil, and to link that also with the fact that His Excellency is continuing to tout the fact that we need to do more, and we are doing more in terms of moving toward a green economy.
Okay, first thing I would advise them to become aware of the oil and gas industry first. Understand it, try to read, get knowledge before you comment. Because a lot of people are commenting, and a lot of people have suddenly turned experts.
Social media.
On oil. And so, I would encourage them to listen for the training that may be advertised, be a part of it, engage. Don't fold your hands and wait and say that nothing is happening. Sometimes you have to go that mile. You have to make that first step. The next thing I would encourage them is, and even our businesses in Linden, is that we have to meet to that level where we understand that these are foreigners. A lot of foreigners will be coming into Guyana, and the way we do business has to change. You would have been trained